Hi there, I'm Kelly and I'm here to talk about stand-up paddleboard, stand-up paddleboard yoga. I've been doing it for a couple of years and I've had a number of people call, email, and ask, what do you have in your toolkit? What should you have extra of? Chances are you probably don't have an extra paddle or an extra paddleboard, but a paddle might be wise. So the paddles that I've been using lately are Bending Branches, and it's also known as Aquabound in Osceola, Wisconsin, and they're the top paddle producer, I believe, in the United States as well as maybe even the world. But they have a really good quality paddle, because there's the one thing you don't want is being stuck upstream without a paddle, no pun intended. However, a lot of them do break right here at the center, and I have had a lot of good luck with this one, so it's really worth it to get a good paddle. The second thing that most people have been asking me about is transportation. So I'll have pictures up of things, how you can transport them on top of your car or even on a trailer. But either case, having this in your toolkit, some rail guards so you don't scuff up your paddle board and paddle, but I wouldn't put my paddle on the roof or loose on a trailer, but you'd want some roof rail guards. The other things are just these simple, ratchet tie downs. They're kind of a pain in the butt to get them really tight. There's some magic to it, but this is your cheapest option by far. I always have bungees. Bungees are key for everything, even on a paddleboard if you want to strap down on, some of the hooks, some other equipment that you're bringing with, anything like that. But always have at least 5 to 10 bungees with you. They're great. They do break. Be careful. Stand back while you're bungeeing. The best are these fasteners, and you can get these on, any online store. But they really are great because when you slip them in here, you just pull it down, and it tightens unbelievably well instead of the ratchet with this one, which is, like I said, kind of tricky in a lot of cuss words. Next, we're moving on to taking care of your board. So it's likely that you're going to get some dings and some scratches, and I found I should have done this in the beginning with my paddle boards, which is this rail guard tape, and you just put it on the edges of your board. And even if your board has a bit of a hull on it, a lot of people run their paddle boards up onto the shore like a metal canoe or an aluminum canoe, and it just scratches everything down to the fiberglass and wears off the paint, which isn't fun. And if that's the case, or if you have any gouges or dings, a friend of mine recommended this one. I've been using a different one, but I really like this PC Marine epoxy fix. It works like it says in 15 minutes, and then you can just sand it down and then it's good as gold. Even better if you have matching paint for your paddleboard, then it'll look good as new. The next area is fin control. So always have a spare fin with you. Sometimes you run into a rock, whatever, and if you break a fin and you're on your paddleboard, you end up going in circles. So every time you have a stroke, you literally will spin around in a 360 movement, which it's kind of exciting for a moment, but really hard to get back to shore. So having this board is good. And to keep them in place, you can get these on Amazon or your local hardware store, but these are just some spare hardware to keep that fin in place. So it's just got a screw and this in it, and you want to make sure it's the right size. Now, worst case scenario, you lose a screw, always have duct tape. So when you put that fin in and you don't have the screw there, you can duct tape it in, and that will work temporarily. Likewise, duct tape is great if you do get a gouge in your board. You just put the duct tape over it for the temporary solution, and then water doesn't get in your board. So that's the biggest thing you want to avoid, is getting water in your board. But jumping back to our fin, there are these options too. They sell them on Amazon. They're these no tool screws. I don't like them because they stick out quite a bit, but I have them in there just in case I lose something. And then there's the whole age-old question, what do you use for hardware to get these things going? So pliers in case you need to get your fin out, the wrist, sometimes a needle nose pliers is better. Here's your screws, depending on which kind of, screwdrivers, and depending on what side of screw you have, you want to keep these in your toolbox. Putty knife, this is for repair. You'll want that for your epoxy and to get the tape down really smoothly. And then going over here, these are just some extra things that I keep in my toolbox, which is you want to have a leash. You should wear a leash at all times. If you think you shouldn't, just think about who's saving your life. You do have a big PFD, you're riding a big paddleboard that is a life preserver, but if you're going down a river and it's going downstream, you always want to have a leash. Have an extra one because sometimes they go missing. They're actually the most replaced item in my toolbox right now. So I recommend a leash at all times. When you're doing yoga on a lake, they're really great to tie them down to a paddleboard and just put a dumbbell so you're tethered down to one spot. So they are multi-purpose if you look at it that way. And then last but not least, rope. So you can use this on your paddleboard to create, little loops so you can tie your leash onto. You can use them in case bungee cords broke. Whatever the case, you can always use a bit of rope. And then you probably want to have a box cutter with you so you can be able to cut the rope accordingly. I'm sure there's other things you'd want in your toolkit. However, I think those are the core essentials. Get yourself one of these nice Rubbermaid containers, take it wherever you go, make it a part of your equipment haul. And that's it. If you have any questions, go to sup-poser.com. Thank you.